The White House leaks. Let's bring in Robert Charles, former Bush 41 and Reagan White House staffer, and a former Navy intelligence officer. Simple question, Robert. Do these leaks, like we saw yesterday, the phone conversations of Mr. Trump and Mexico and Australian leaders, is that a direct national security threat?
I think it is. I think it's a layered national security threat. I think from a legal perspective, felonies have been committed, and frankly, they've also been committed if you put the cumulative effect of these leaks together. And it betrays something deeper legally. It betrays an internal disrespect for the rule of law. So here we are around the world telling people to respect the rule of law, and internally we have members of the U.S. government, either at the NSC or secondary sources tied to the NSC documents or at state or at intelligence, that are disgorging classified information, and apparently this was actually marked classified. So that is serious from a legal perspective. From an former intelligence officer perspective, this really, to me, if I were the president, I'd be livid right now, as I would be if I was a leader in intelligence, because what you've done is you've undermined people, sources, methods, and confidence in the process of gathering and using intelligence. Finally, as a diplomat, as a former diplomat, I can tell you this undermines not just the president's ability to have confidential conversations, but the doubt now exists in the minds of everybody in the State Department and in the intelligence community, and probably in the wider national security community, that something they say may end up on the front page of the Washington Post. And what that does is it crimps conversations with foreign leaders all the way down the chain.
What do you make of the Washington Post publishing this stuff in the first place?
You know, I think the media has to remember that they're also American, and they need to have a degree of responsibility in this process. I really hold first accountable the government officials. There ought to be, if we're going to impanel a grand jury for the Russia probe, we ought to be impaneling one for leaks right now and bring everything straight in. This has more to do with the fact that there's a breach of law and responsibility by government officials than by the media, although the media needs to be responsible in the context of the First Amendment. There's no reason these transcripts should have been out there. They compromise the ability of the president and, frankly, the confidence of foreign leaders in the United States. It looks like we're dysfunctional, and we shouldn't be, and we technically, historically, aren't. So we have to get on this.
But yes, well, there's going to be a press conference later on today, the Attorney General looking to plug those leaks. The question is, I mean, I've only got 30 seconds, but do you think they can be plugged? Can this be brought to an end?
I do, and I will tell you right now, in my view, these are not leaks. This is a full-on faucet. This is not precedented. This is unprecedented. And so what will happen is that the new Chief of Staff, John Kelly, together, I'm sure, with Attorney General Sessions and others in the administration, will send a very clear signal that those involved in this kind of activity will be prosecuted. I would imagine a grand jury eventually would be impaneled, and the American people deserve better than this. That's the bottom line, because their security, their foreign policy, and their government depends on people respecting the law and not leaking classified intelligence.